An overhand knot is made by passing one end of a suture over another. An overhand knot is half of one square knot. A good surgeon should be able to identify some basic knots based on their visual appearance. A square knot should have two intertwined loops, the tails of which enter and exit on the same side of the opposite loop. A square knot is made of two opposite overhand knots on top of each other. It is important to be able to identify a granny knot because if a surgeon ties granny knots, they can result in failure of the knot. This is a granny knot. Note that the overhand knots do not form two intertwined loops, and the tails of the loops do not enter and exit on the same side of the opposite loop. A granny knot is two identical overhand knots on top of each other. To tie a surgeon's knot, loop the suture around the needle holders twice before pulling the knot. A surgeon's knot introduces more friction into the first throw of a square knot, which can be helpful if there is tension on the tissues that loosen the first throw before the second throw can be added. A surgeon's knot only differs from a square knot in the first throw. The remaining throws are identical. A double half hitch can result when a surgeon pulls the suture ends up rather than flat with the ground. This is also a slip knot. Occasionally, this knot can be used on purpose to ligate a vessel in a small, deep space, but should always be augmented with square knots over the slip knot. A slip knot should not be used on critical closures, such as the body wall.